Oh, got it. Mm, 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 mm. Hello, everyone. Hi, welcome to the Quest Show. We are going to jump right in. I am Lana Quest, and this is my co-host.
I am Honor. So happy to be here. Honored to be here today. Surviving the cold.
Yes, we are. It is cold. Some of us are on the beach right now. Not us. We are cold. But before we get into the show, I just wanted to say, if you are out there, if you are lurking and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe now. If you are out there, you have subscribed, please hit the thumbs up button. Please share this video. I do want to thank our chat group, the Q Hive. Thank you guys for always coming and rocking with us. We did get some new subscribers. Typically we say them at the end, but I don't want to forget, so I'm going to say them now. We got 6 new subscribers. Betsy Richards, MRH, Elias Alves de Souza. There's 3 more. I couldn't find their names, but if you're watching, thank you for subscribing. Yes, exactly. Thank you. We have a packed show. We're going to talk about some politics. We're going to talk about civil rights, Reconstruction era questions. Got the game. We got some things going on. So I'm just going to let Honor share some things with you guys right now. We're going to get on with the show.
So before we get into that, just a couple of quick news items. It was just announced that, to everyone's great not surprise, the Senate Republicans successfully blocked voting on the Voting Rights Act. That is not a surprise. We will see what the Democrats have next planned. There's got to be a next. We can't
plan B.
Yeah, we can't keep just stop. Also, in a bit of good news in advancing our democracy, the Supreme Court ruled that Donald Trump's archives can be released. That is about 700 documents. If you all need any volunteers to go through and scour for evidence, I am available, because I think that's just going to be some spicy reading.
You said scour for evidence.
Yeah, that's right. Scour for evidence. And also, just to mention, in Biden and the administration's fight against COVID, they announced a free website that is up and running today, where each household can order 4 free COVID tests. The website is covidtest.gov. That is covidtest.gov. Order your test, people. Being able to test at home is also going to allow you to have extra precautions in place when you have to travel, when you have people that are coming to visit, when your child is sent home with a note from school that there has been exposure. Order your test. Order your test.
Girl.
It's a great thing.
It sure is. And it's easy. Like
it's
45
oh my gosh,
seconds.
It was so, you really expect websites to crash.
Right.
That was it was the easiest thing ever. I think it took me less than 30 seconds. The kits will be delivered through the U.S. Postal Service, and it takes about 7 to 12 days for them to arrive. Right. So there you go.
Yeah. Get yourself some kitties. So, wow, Honor, Martin Luther King Day was on Monday, but we weren't really celebrating, were we?
No.
We were in the fight of our lives.
We are in the fight of our lives, and we really are in this by ourselves, so to speak. And I'm not saying that we don't have allies, but as far as the people that are supposed to serve us, and that is Republican congressmen and 2 Democratic congressmen or senators, they won't do it. They will not do it. So we know that we're not going to have any help from the legislative branch. We're going to have to go out and make some things happen.
Right.
That's just the long and the short of put pressure, however that looks. But we're going to have to, we're just going to fight. We're going to have to fight. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Right. So if you guys have been living under a rock and don't know what we're talking about, voting. Yes. This is 2022, and we are still being denied access to the ballot box. 2022 now is not, well, I guess it is like the new civil rights movement, as we said in version, Jim Crow version, because it really is. And we really do need a movement at this point. We almost need a revolution, really something bigger than a movement, but we need a movement. We need all hands on deck because it is time. Because if we don't get out here and vote, if we allow them to restrict our access, to suppress our votes, then democracy does fail. Like it really does. And you have to ask yourself, how did they push the needle back in the Reconstruction era, back in the Civil Rights era? How did the needle move back then, right? We have so much access to social media. How did the bus boycott happen without cell phones? They did that. They really did that. Like state to state to state. It wasn't just Montgomery, Alabama. It was other states were doing that.
Exactly.
Exactly. I mean, amazing. So, we're going to need young people. And we had this discussion, was it yesterday? Where we talked about young people and how, back then, Dr. King, Abernathy, all those activists back then, they were young.
Yeah.
They were young. We need our young people to step up. Like they wanted to vote.
Yeah.
And maybe because they couldn't.
Well, I think that we need a reboot. And so I really am calling this Civil Rights Jim Crow 20.22. This is not a 2.0. We have really got to step up our game.
Yeah.
And on MLK Day, I just kind of looked at some things. You mentioned the Montgomery boy boycott. That boy boycott lasted for 281 days. Those people walked for 281 days, got rides, did whatever they had to do for 281 days.
Yeah.
It was a long game. And I am sure after day 180,
right.
People probably felt discouraged and probably felt like it was not going to make a difference, that things were never going to change. You mentioned Reconstruction. I look back, the Reconstruction era, and I mentioned it, we've never had full rights. I get that.
Right.
But during the Reconstruction era, right after the Emancipation Proclamation was passed, we were given land. Granted, it was snatched back. We held office. There were Black people that were elected to Congress, and that lasted from December of 1863 to the end of March 1877. So from 1877 to when the Voting Rights Act passed was in 1965. That's what, 98 years?
Don't ask me.
98 years that we endured a fight, that we had to fight. We put up with people. We died. We hung from trees. We had to guess how many rocks or jelly beans in the jar. We signed people up, and we were killed. We built our own communities, and they burnt them down. That was a long 90 plus years that we had to fight, that we had to continue to march forward, that we had to continue to say, okay, you don't want us in the South, we're going up north.
Right.
And we're creating communities there.
Right.
And when I guess they wanted things changed in the South, you had people come from up north to go down south that were literally killed in pursuit of trying to make things more equal down there.
Right.
So, we're in another movement, like you said, a revolution, and it's a long game.
Right.
Senate Republicans do what they do. They shot it down again. Like you said, Plan B. What's Plan V?
Plan B.
We might get down to that.
Yeah. And let's really delve a little bit deeper because, you're absolutely right. Like, that's almost a century, girl. Like, it is a long game. And, just during research, Black men were supposedly allowed to vote in 1870. That is when that started, right? Black women didn't get to vote until 1965. And we're still, like Anna just said, just think of it. Black men could vote in 1870. Here we are in 2022, and access is being denied again. That's like, it's such a crazy thing. And to understand the fight is to understand like all of the heroes. And it was like Dr. King and Abernathy. But then there were other people who, how Anna just said the bus boycott lasted. How long did it last? Like
181 days. That's a long time to walk.
Right.
That's a long time.
Right. Because it was everyone, you know what I mean? It wasn't like just a group of people or a dozen people here. It was everyone. They were like those unsung heroes who I think her name was Maud Billow, who was Dr. King's secretary. She organized everybody. She was making those phone calls on that phone, the one that like dial when you go like that, and it goes all around. Yeah. Like she was making those phone calls. There was a woman literally making meals, like cooking for people so they could take lunches and pack lunches. Like that's really what we need. And we're so missing that in today. We can't, it's not to be funny, but like Democrats can't even pull it together to be one cohesive machine, to have one voice. So like, how do they expect us out here?
Well, you know what? I'm not even going to focus on the Democrats and their non-cohesiveness. I think that we need to, like you mentioned the young people.
Yeah, whether they are
Dr.
cohesive
King
or not, we have
was
to.
young when he was out here organizing. Right. John Lewis was young. They were in their 20s. Yeah. They were not on a fast track to their first million. They were not trying to become Instagram famous. They were out here putting their bodies and their lives on the line to make changes for people. And I think we were fortunate. The Voting Rights Act in 65 really did open up things for the Black community and other underserved communities. And we seem to do pretty well for a while. Affirmative action was in place. People were a little bit more, housing laws went into place for trying to, so you couldn't discriminate and things like that. We've done well. Colleges, had money set aside so that minorities could get in, and all of that at this point is now being reversed. And so
interracial marriage, like, yeah, there was a lot of things that came out of the movement, is what Anna is saying. Like, things didn't just happen in a vacuum. Like, we take so many things for granted. And we were talking about this, like Black and white people could not marry until 1967. But that was the push from the civil rights, like Anna just said. The fair housing, that was 1968. That was, again, the push from all that marching, all that boycotting. That's what caused it. Segregation, bus segregation, Rosa Parks, Claudette Colvin, 1957, that was outlawed. It was unconstitutional. That was from the pushing. And if the civil rights movement started in 1954, in 1957, they got desegregation. That was 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
It's not a quick, they did not live in an instantaneous, immediate satisfaction world.
That's what it is.
And we might live in that world, but we can't necessarily be of that world. That's what produces a lot of the crying and whining. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't be discouraged. It looks bleak.
Right. Yes, we get it.
Let's do a survey of the group that was walking on day 200 of day 281.
Girl,
we have young people. We are here to guide you. You have got to step up. It really is your responsibility. Right. They're trying to take away your vote, your right to vote too. It's a dual affront. Black people, brown people, and young people. Right. And so, yeah, it's your time to shine. I don't want to say we've coasted, but we have really lived fully off of the fruits of those people that marched on Washington, that were beaten with clubs, that dogs bit them. They had fire hoses put on them. This stuff is real. This is not fantasy. We have pictures. Right. And it's 20.22 because we have technology. We don't have rotary phones. We can do a lot better, I think, with organizing, with education, but young people have a responsibility to step up. They really do. And I think that needs to be pushed.
Right. I think so too. And it's up to us too, as parents, to push them and to teach them, because if we have our kids and we're not teaching them the importance of this stuff and the importance of voting, why would they do it? Like what? Right. Why would they do it? Why would they leave their phone to go stand in a line somewhere? Because that's the thing, like who's doing that down south? You got to stand in line. Why would they want to do that? Right. But they'll stand in line for them sneakers or that new iPhone.
And this is what we have to impress upon them, right? Like when you want something, it's not always instantaneous. You will have patience for what you'll have patience with. This is your life. This is the country that you live in. Right. This really is. It's almost an obligation, right? Right. And I think education, I also think, and this is something that I've noticed, that there's a small fraction, I've seen it done with Colin Powell, I've seen it done with a few activists, where they don't really know what Dr. King stood for. Right. And so you have a small fraction of people or faction of people that'll be like, well, he was nonviolent, he's out of touch, that wouldn't work today, that's old fashioned. Dr. King was whitewashed. His history has been whitewashed, right? Me and you talked about how, and there's also been on Twitter, how back then he was labeled a communist, a traitor, a charlatan. Right. The FBI was watching him. His house wasn't his house firebombed? I
mean, I don't see why it wouldn't have been. I mean, if it wasn't, I'm surprised, right?
So he was not seen as some beloved figure. Right. He had to take his lumps.
Right. And he took lumps. He was in jail. He was beat. And the young people also have to, and it's not just young people. I'm not going to put all the focus on the young people, because that's not fair, because there's some adults as well that aren't out here doing it, and they're not out here voting. Dr. King, he made the ultimate sacrifice. Malcolm X, the ultimate sacrifice. Most of these guys and women, they knew that if they spoke up, there's a possibility that I will be assassinated.
They killed, assassinated.
And they stepped up because it was just that important. So if somebody is willing to die to vote, that is something
that it must hold.
Right. It's a commodity. Like it is power. It is worth something. That is why they're keeping us from it. Those are the words
that we need to use. And you mentioned Malcolm X. When I say that Dr. King has been whitewashed, we all know. I am sure even children in Alabama and Mississippi got to learn about Dr. King and his dream that little Black kids and little white kids would be able to play together. But he was a much deeper and practical man. We didn't get to hear about his views on poverty. We didn't get to hear about his views on what he felt like the government and society owed Black people as a debt for what
unless you read
right?
all of his writings, right? Unless you read
that,
right, and no one did
that,
it, right? Exactly.
So that's why you have people that roll out the same standard quotes, and you also have people that just regurgitating the same standard quotes, don't realize just how deeply he felt about some of the very things that we are dealing with today. And I'm not being conspiracy theorist. I'm just pointing out that contrary to what they want us to believe, Malcolm and Martin talked.
Okay.
And Martin was definitely nonviolent, but it's not like their views were so far apart. And I just kind of believe they did not want that combination of men around to further our cause.
Absolutely, the Medgar Evers, the anyone, because it's the organizing that's the problem, right? It's the getting together, because once you get even white people, right? So if you get the poor whites and you get the poor Blacks and and the poor Latinos together, that's a scary thing for white people. The powers that be, or whatever you want to call them, that's what they don't like. That's why DeSantis is out here saying, well, we're gonna make a law where you can't protest. That's why they don't want us to protest.
Exactly.
They don't want us out here in these streets, because look what it did. They couldn't stop George Floyd protest. They couldn't stop it. That shit was out of control. International protest. It got stuff happening. It actually did. And we need that kind of thing, to me.
I'm right there. Rights. Yeah. You bring up an important point. We showed up for George Floyd, justice for George. We have to show out like that for ourselves, justice for our vote. Because if we don't, any justice that we achieve for George, we're looking at having policemen prosecuted. We're looking at having these attorney generals and these states attorneys be accountable for prosecuting these people. We're looking at trying to do police reform and ending qualified immunity. All of those things depend on our vote. And George's death showed a huge spotlight, not that we hadn't seen it before, a huge spotlight on some things that really need to happen. And our vote makes all of that happen. We have to form a movement. Justice for the vote.
Yeah. So Donnie has a question in here. Like, let me put my glasses on, because it is a good question. It's very valid. He says, is that nonviolence? Is that how we proceed in this day and age when people are threatening the very lives of voters? Should our response be nonviolent? I mean, if you're being threatened, if somebody's threatening you have every right to do what you need to do. I personally think that more Black and brown people should go on and get their gun licenses.
Can we talk about that? We can do a whole show about that. I am so pro 2A.
Yeah.
Go
on and get your gun licenses, because you can. Go on and get your license to carry, because you can, because things may change just a little bit. If Black and you see what it was when the Black Panthers, they hated that the Black Panthers like, we got a right to do this. It's your laws, white people. Now you don't want us to carry these guns to protect ourselves. So if they're telling you, y'all in Texas and whatever, get your gun license. Why not? Open carry. If they want to walk around these polling places, open carry with their guns, why can't we? Why are we letting them be the only ones that do that?
Well, you know what? There are, what's today? 290 3 days until November 8th, 2020.
You got time.
You got time. No, really, seriously. Like, I really think the best way to combat some of the stuff that you're talking about over to open carry, I'm going to protect myself and my vote.
Yeah.
I heard on the news that in Harris County, which is a part of Houston is a large part of, they've rejected like half of the mail-in ballots for things like if you applied with your driver's license, but you returned it with your social security number, it's rejected. Pull all the shenanigans out early so that we can create a plan to move around it.
Right.
If you think we're going to be intimidated because the poll watchers have guns, I'm not intimidated. I have a gun too. And I'm not advocating for violence. As far as the nonviolence thing, I will say this. I didn't like what January 6th looked like. And I would have liked it even less had it been Black people.
Right.
So I will say that. I don't know if I mean, we're in 2022. It doesn't necessarily have to be sit-ins. It can be,
they don't threaten
me. Weeknight shopping on Amazon.
Right.
There's just so many different ways. Drive yourself to the store instead of ordering online. There are so many different ways to be able to look at this to affect change. And economics has always been it. Hit them in the pockets.
Hit them in the pockets. We have to do your research, everyone, and spread the word. Like, find out when you can register, when the deadlines are, find out if they're changing, what ID you need when you get there. Like, that's the only way we can do this. I mean, we can't stop them if they're throwing out votes. That's a whole different story, but we just need to show up. We need to show up. We need to show out. With Black people, we can do it. We know what we need to do. We've been through worse. This is bullshit in comparison to what we've been through. We're people who were enslaved. You tell me some white people walking around here with guns and small penises are going to threaten us? Come on, y'all.
No.
Come on. Even if I didn't have a gun, they're not a threat. You go and vote. The hell with those people.
And here's the thing, and I will admit, I don't have hours long waits when I go and vote. But even if you do, chances have actually decreased that you're going to be shot once you come out of the polling place.
Yeah.
Not to say that, it
can't happen, but it's definitely decreased. Yeah.
But it's against the law now. That, that helps. Like we really, I think, have to look back to, like you said, MLK, John Lewis, Ralph Abernathy, Medgar Evers,
right.
Jesse Jackson, Reverend Al Sharpton, because they were actually there too,
right. Fannie Lou Hamer.
To look back and see what they did and update this for 2022.
Right.
If a bunch of kids with TikTok can,
troll Trump and control Trump, right?
Right. There is no limit to what we can do as far as just education, as far as, getting out information. I think information is going to be our biggest friend.
Right.
We need to look into all avenues, running for local office. How do you do that? Right. Being an elector, how do you do that? Just look into, because different states have different laws, but look into doing things like that. Be a poll watcher. I'll be a poll watcher.
Yeah,
I surely will.
We're gonna need some because they're trying to fire everybody, so we're gonna need some brave ones up there. So, you want to move on to something else? Let's talk about some winnable Senate seats, because there are some winnable Senate seats. Believe it or not, all hope is not lost.
Right.
There's 6. There is 6. There's Pennsylvania. We have John Fetterman, our fave. So that definitely is a winnable seat. And we're telling you about these winnable seats because, one, we need you guys to support the people who are running for office in these seats and spread their word and amplify so people know who they are. Get people out to vote. Pennsylvania, this is important. John Fetterman, Florida, there is a primary in Florida. They have Val Demings because she is the well-known, but we do know that there are other people that are running in Florida for the Senate seat. Alan Ellison is one of them, and we've had the pleasure of interviewing him. So Florida is up for grabs, the Senate seat, because, you know, the hell with Rubio.
Right.
Us, North Carolina, that's the third one, Sherry Beasley. So I guess Jeff Jackson was running against Sherry Beasley for the primary, but he dropped out, and he is now endorsing Sherry Beasley. She is a former state Supreme Court justice, and if she goes to Senate, she would be the first Black senator in North Carolina, which is interesting because Erica Smith was running for North Carolina Senate. So now Sherry Beasley is, and Erica Smith is running for a district seat. She's running for the House. Tim Ryan. I'm not familiar with Tim Ryan. I don't know if you are. He's running in Ohio, but that is something that's up because I guess Rob Portman is not.
Oh, is right. He's retiring.
Exactly.
He's not running again.
Right. So
Bye,
Ohio.
Rob.
Bye, Rob.
Bye.
Say ya. Don't let the door hit you. So Tim Ryan has an opportunity there in Ohio. That is a big state for us. The next one is Missouri. I don't know a lot about Missouri. Lucas Kuntz is the forerunner there, the big Democrat there that we should be supporting, Kunce, Lucas Kuntz. And the last seat that is flippable, not flippable, but winnable is Wisconsin. And Mandela Barnes is running there.
Wasn't he's like the mayor of
I think that he is, and I'm not sure which city, but interesting.
Smart man.
Yeah, Ron Johnson had not announced that he was going to run for re-election. He just announced maybe yesterday or the day before that he actually is. So Mandela is going to have a hard time going up against that political machine called Ron Johnson, because we are.
Well, I mean, you know, if we can get the communist money out of the race.
Exactly.
Because he's about the worst of them. He's like right under dump as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
with some of his statements that he makes.
Didn't he say 1-6 was the picnic? He's like, if you didn't know what was going on, you just thought it was a picnic.
How insulting was that? You know what? Oh my gosh. That to me brought up memories of white people going to the lynching and thinking of them as picnics.
Yeah. Right? Like, why would
that's
you say
exactly
that?
What that
such a strange thing to say. But you know, so those are the winnable seats, everyone. Let's play a game. Let's play quotes and questions. And I got it right. Anyone in the chat ready for a game? You guys ready? Where is Michelle? I don't see
here.
Michelle. Is she here? Okay, Michelle, you are there. All right, good. We can't have a game without Michelle P in there. we just cannot. For anyone new, I am going to read some quotes and you have to guess the quote or answer the question. These are all things in quotes that have happened this past week. So first quote, in the spirit of MLK Jr., Dems will continue to fight and history will vindicate us. In the spirit of Martin Luther King Jr., Democrats will continue to fight and history will vindicate us. He is in the Senate. Let's see. He called this vote. Don't you guess? You know, right?
I think so.
In the spirit of Martin Luther King Jr., Dems will continue to fight and history will vindicate us. Hi, Michelle. She said she's here. There's a big delay.
Michelle?
She said, oh, yes. Yeah, good job. She got it.
That would have been my guess.
Yeah, it is Schumer. Very, very good. Next, these state laws have no place in a nation whose government is formed by free, fair elections. Wait, this is about the filibuster. These state laws have no place in a nation whose government is formed by free, fair elections. So It's a woman. She's
Mhm.
talking about the state laws, those laws that, the Republicans are popping up all over the place. And she
Mhm.
said these state laws have no place in a nation whose government is formed by free, fair elections. This person is also a hypocrite.
Mm.
She's the biggest hypocrite in the Senate, next to the other guy.
Senate?
And she's in the Senate. These state laws have no place in a nation whose government is formed by free, fair elections. She's talking about those suppressive laws, that they have no state in a nation whose government is formed by free and fair elections. And she is a hypocrite because she is doing the exact opposite.
Well, I think I know.
Yeah, cinema.
Yep.
Correct, Donnie. Next.
Oh, I like your spelling, Michelle, because she is a cinema. She is a show.
She is. I know.
She is
That's
a
good
show.
spelling.
You spelled it right.
She's a horror show. Let's see. Grab a clipboard, get some signatures, and run for office yourself.
That's what I'm talking about.
You got it, Andrea. Cinema.
Yeah.
Everyone's late. Next quote, grab a clipboard, get some signatures, and run for office yourself. I will give a hint in a minute.
And on that note, because we are well aware, right? These national races, these congressional races, the millions and millions and millions of dollars that they pour into these races, not every race is $1 million race. Correct. Local races, your school board, we need to infiltrate. We need to infiltrate where we can. Actually, to run for president, don't you just have to be like 36 or something like that, a U.S. citizen? There's nothing that says that you have to have $1 in your pocket. Of course, we know how things work, but not all races are going to cost you thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars.
Like we talked about dog catcher, like it's just anything, just all of them, town rep,
all of them,
all of the races. Oh, question mark. Sorry. Oh, good job, Andrea. Obama. She got that. Hey. Wow. I thought I was going to have to read that one again. Good job. Okay. I thought I was going to have to give some hints on that one. All right. Next. History will remember Senator Sinema, Cinema, I believe unkindly for her position on the filibuster. History will remember Senator Sinema, I believe unkindly for her position on the filibuster.
Well, that was a nice way of saying it.
So this quote is from Martin Luther King Day. So it happened on my Jesus. No, it wasn't Jesus. Close to Jesus, very, very close to Jesus. He gave the speech. He gave a speech on Martin Luther King Day.
I have an idea.
Yes, he shares the name of Reverend. I don't want to say Reverend Doctor. History will remember Senator Sinema, I believe unkindly for her position on the filibuster.
Every Democrat.
He has a very famous dad. We celebrate his dad every year. History will remember Senator Sinema. Oh, that's good. Good guess, Reverend Jackson. Famous dad. We celebrate his dad every year. We just finished celebrating his dad.
Caitlyn Jenner.
Yeah. Good job, MLK the third.
Yeah.
King the 3. That's funny.
Tumor.
Here's a question. Everyone.
Mm-hmm.
What Supreme Court justice refused to wear a mask despite a request from Justice Roberts? What Supreme Court justice refused to wear a mask despite a request from Justice Roberts? Yes, King the Third. Good. Cinema. What is DA asking for this? I'm so confused. I don't know where he's at. It's Jesus. And it's not Jesus. It's not Terry Crews. It's not Kanye. What Supreme Court justice refused to wear a mask despite a request from Justice Roberts, who was actually sticking up for Sotomayor?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know?
I think so.
Coconut Clarence. Oh, I'm dead. Oh my God, black on the outside. The one that needs to retire. No, that's not the one that we want. No,
that's a buyer,
right?
I think.
Yeah. I don't have a hint. Oh, I do have a hint. So Mitch McConnell pushed him through, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. He took what's his name's place? Who's our DOJ? Merrick Garland. Correct. He took Merrick Garland's place. Mitch McConnell pushed him through, the Supreme Court justice. I know it's hard to name the justices.
Yes, Andrea.
Oh, good. Yes. Gorsuch. That's him. Okay, so this one is funny. Let me see how many more do I. Oh God, we got to pick up. Okay, pick up the pace. Don't laugh. Any kids, hold your ears. COVID dick is real, but he prefers to be called Ron DeSantis. COVID dick is real, but he prefers to be called Ron DeSantis. I like to drink a beer guy. Who's that guy? She's talking about the Supreme Court.
That's
right, Kavanaugh. Yeah. Right. She's on Kavanaugh.
He pushed through some doozies, right?
Yeah, he sure did.
One don't mind if their co-worker dies. The other one just likes beer.
Mm-hmm. COVID dick is real, but he prefers to be called Ron DeSantis.
Oh, and the other one likes advocates for babies to be left on firehouse steps. It's quite the trio. Quite the trio.
Oh, good job, Michelle. She said she knew it, covert. Oh my God, she knew that. Wow, look at that. All right, last one. The wife of what Supreme Court justice signed a letter saying the insurrectionists did nothing wrong?
Come on, guys.
Yeah, I know this one. Already gave
answers. The time.
Oh, right. I know, right? The lime and the coconut. Mix it all up. Oh, Andrea, yeah, good job, Colbert. Andrea's a little. Oh, I know, right?
The colors there.
I know. And when it turns green, it disappears. Reverend TD Cakes. Are you answering the dick one or
Michelle is?
Okay, thank you. Clarence Thomas, his wife.
Coconut Clarence.
Look, I like Coconut Clarence. That's a good one. Thank you guys. That was fun. I love quotes and questions, especially when there's full participation. So what time is it? 9:47? I guess it's time for us to start closing out, right?
Yeah.
Did we go over everything?
I think so. We went over our senators. We went over, oh, just another little tidbit,
Yeah.
just to let y'all really know how long y'all gonna have to put one foot in front of the other. November 5th, 2024, which would be the presidential election, is 1,021 days away. We got some walking to do. Put on your comfy shoes and throw an extra pair in your backpack. Okay. It's a
That's a
long,
lot of
it's
days.
I sent this out on Twitter. It's not a sprint. It's not
Yeah.
even a marathon. It is neither of those.
Right.
It is
Right.
one foot in front of the other for a long stretch
It's
of
a long
days.
haul. It is a long haul. Um, so in closing, I did want to say, well, I wanted to say happy birthday to James Earl Jones because he
Yes.
turned 90 something this week.
Mhm.
We did lose Andre Talley. Remember
That,
him?
oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So rest in peace, Andre Talley. And Honor and I did want to take a moment to talk about Sergio Garza. He is or was resistor extraordinaire, one of our resistor friends, and he passed away. Was it 2 days ago or was it
Yeah.
Tuesday? So we just wanted to say some words and honor that bright light that I'm not even gonna say the light was put out because we're gonna keep carrying on, what he started.
Yeah.
So what do you
So
have
just
any
just
fun
for a little
thoughts?
background, he was a huge soul from what we understand in real life, but we came to know him through Twitter.
Yeah.
He was a father, brother, right? Um, I suppose uncle, family man. But he was also, like you said, a resistor on Twitter. He had a very large following. He tweeted about issues great and far, Latina rights, Black and Brown people rights, police brutality, voting rights. He was just a beacon and a bright light on Twitter,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
with the knowledge, his kindness. Um, News has hit the Twitterverse, his own little Twitterverse, especially hard because he was such a kind, decent, true ally, true
Right.
ally. So
Right.
yeah.
Right. Yeah, Sergio to me, wow. Ah, he was just, oh my God. Um, he was big. It's not often that you don't meet someone in person, but you feel as if you have, right? To
Mhm.
know Sergio was to absolutely adore him. And I've
Absolutely.
never met him in person, but it feels like I have. And that's
Mhm.
how much he will touch you. And
Mhm.
if you have met him, you know what we mean because he
Mhm.
personalizes his relationship with you. So whoever you are, he makes it personal. He is going to DM you. He is going to chat with you. He's going to call you little nicknames like, and
Mhm.
that's just the side piece and the loving piece, but he was a fierce resistor. He made those lists to amplify all of us, to get us more
Yes.
followers, to grow the
Yes.
resistance,
Yes.
and Texas is missing a
Huge.
huge
Huge.
resistor out there fighting for the cause. So, Sergio Garza, you will be missed by us, but you will never be forgotten.
He will not, because the one thing that we want people to know, Sergio had a room,
Yeah.
and a hashtag that he started, and it was hashtag one today. It was all caps,
Mm-hmm.
hashtag ONE, the number two, and DAY day. If you see that hashtag anywhere, retweet. Know that that is Sergio's spirit living on. Know that that is his message continuing to be shared,
Yeah,
and that is his light still being shown.
it
Retweet it.
is.
Retweet it.
Retweet it. Retweet the hell out of it. And before we leave, don't go yet. I just wanted to say one of Sergio's quotes, be kind to unkind people. They need it the most. That's how loving Sergio is because honestly, I'm not going to be too kind to unkind people, but that was Sergio's way, and I'm not going to begrudge that. And you know what? He's absolutely right. But before you guys leave, again, thank you for coming. I do want to say that the Black Corner is back. That is another little show that we have on this channel where we highlight Black events, Black history, because we're dealing with these voting rights. It's important for us to honor the sacrifices of those who came before us, those who lived, died for voting rights. So we are going to start highlighting them on this channel. So please stay tuned. We'd love for you to watch them, share them, retweet, and all of that good stuff. Thank you everyone for coming. Thank you, Q Hive. I see I Deliver showed up a little late. I Deliver. Hey. You are 1 hour late. Next week, Wednesday, we have a guest. We expect for you to be here at 9 p.m.
And please rewatch and hit that thumbs up button.
Absolutely. You can do that. So everyone, yes, please come back next week. We will have Ruby Powell. She is running for state senate in Tennessee. All seats are important. All of them.
All seats.
Yes, all of the seats are important. So come back, please, next Wednesday. As Honor said, go on to the government website, get yourself a test kit. And we're going to get some masks. I hear masks are coming too.
I cannot wait. I cannot wait. So I like all the balls that the Biden administration is juggling.
Exactly. So wait a minute. That sounded weird. You like all of his balls?
All of them that he's juggling in the air. All of them.
She's like, I stand by the balls.
I stand by what I said.
All right, everyone. Good night. Any closing words, Honor?
Masked up.
Masked up.
Masked up. Get your vaccinations.
That's right. Thank you, everyone. Some of them are warm. Andrea's way in California. She warm, girl.
Andrea, send some heat.
All right, guys. Have a good night.